Caroline and welcome back to Contemporary Mama. Today's video I am really excited about because I'm going to be sharing with you 10 ways that I'm trying to be more eco-friendly and use less plastic. Now some of these I've been using for a while and some of them I'm trying out for the very first time, but nonetheless I'm excited to start this new eco-friendly journey and take you along. So let's jump right on into number one. So the first item on my list I have been doing for quite some time, and that is ditching dryer sheets. Now, dryer sheets, as we all know, are a single-use item, so we throw them away after every single use. They're loaded with chemicals and they can actually cause buildup and clog your dryer lint trap. So they are not a good idea to be using in your dryer in the first place, not to mention they're not very eco-friendly. So an amazing alternative that I've been using for well over a year now are these. These are wool dryer balls, and you can get them in packages of like 4 or 6. They're gonna last you for thousands of loads, so very eco-friendly. And if you're worried about your clothes not having that fresh dryer sheet scent, don't worry, you can just sprinkle a few drops of your favorite essential oil on these before you throw them in the dryer. So not only are they eco-friendly in the respect that they're reusable, but they're also gonna cut down on your drying time because they're gonna bounce around with your clothes and help them separate so that they dry even faster. So these are amazing for so many different reasons, but the number one reason is that they are super eco-friendly. Number 2 on my list is trying to reduce the amount of paper towels I use. Now, Americans use 13 billion pounds of paper towels per year. Now that equates to 80 rolls per person. It uses a ton of resources just to create them and ship them to the stores, as in 110 million trees. Now that is absolutely mind-blowing when you think about that. Not only that, but it creates a ton of landfill waste and they create methane as they decompose, which is really bad for the environment. So 2 super easy ways that you can reduce the amount of paper towels is just when you use a public restroom, please use the air hand dryer if it is an option. I know a lot of times they have paper towels and the electronic hand dryer that you just stick your hands under. So if given the option, use the second. And another way that I have been reducing my paper towels by a significant amount is using reusable microfiber cleaning cloths when I do my cleaning. Now, years ago, I did all my cleaning with paper towels, which thinking back totally makes me cringe because that was so wasteful. But being eco-friendly just wasn't on my mind in my early 20s. So I have bought microfiber cleaning cloths probably about 8 years ago, and I still use them to this day. I got them at Bed Bath & Beyond, and while they're great, you might be surprised that my absolute favorite ones I bought at the Dollar Tree. So I got these last summer and they are still in pristine condition. I use them all the time. I have a ton of them and I have 2 baskets. I have a basket of clean ones, and then when they're dirty, I put them in the dirty basket. When the basket's full, I just go ahead and wash them in hot water, and I absolutely love using them for all of my cleaning. I use them on my counters, to dust my furniture, to clean my mirrors and glass. So these ones from the Dollar Tree, they don't leave any lint behind. I absolutely love them, and I can't even imagine how many rolls of paper towels these little cloths have saved me over the years. Item number 3 is reducing the amount of plastic bags that I'm using. Now, I'm not talking about those plastic grocery bags. Those have become sort of no-no for many of us in our society. I know a lot of grocery stores don't even allow them anymore. A lot of states have actually banned them, and bringing your own reusable grocery bags has become pretty common in our society. What I'm talking about today are those little plastic sandwich bags. These are so easy and convenient. I use them all the time when I'm bringing my lunch to work, and I can only imagine how many I'll be using as my kids grow older and they're bringing their lunch to school. So I am going to be hopping on the reusable sandwich bag bandwagon, and I got a big package on Amazon that I'm excited to show you. So they come in 3 different sizes and you get multiple of each one. They have this extra large one that is probably like equivalent to a gallon size. They have one that seems to be like the equivalent of a quart size. And they have this little snack size one as well. So I'm really excited to be giving these a try. I really hope that I can stick with this because I do use a lot of reusable sandwich bags in my everyday life, and it's actually estimated that each American uses a pound of them per year, which equates to over 500, which is ridiculous. So this is definitely something that we all have room for improvement on. So I'm excited to be giving these reusable baggies a try, and I'll leave them linked down below in the description box along with any other products that I mention. Another alternative, if these reusable sandwich baggies just don't seem to be your cup of tea, I'm sure it is going to be a little bit tedious to clean and dry them, is using a bento box for your lunch instead. These are usually made of stainless steel and they have different compartments to keep your food separated. So I think that's another great alternative that I might give a try if these reusable sandwich baggies just seem like too much work. So item number 4 is reducing the amount of plastic Tupperware that I use. Now, plastic Tupperware is definitely something that we don't consider to stand the test of time. It becomes warped, it becomes stained. If there's something gross and moldy in there, I'm sure most of us just go ahead and throw it out. So it is definitely not eco-friendly. Most of us actually think of it as disposable, which is crazy. So plastic also has a lot of scary properties to it. Whereas most food storage containers are BPA free, they can also contain BPS, and that can be just as toxic. So if you are using plastic food storage containers, make sure that you check at the bottom of them and make sure it says it's plastic type number 2, 4, or 5. Those are the only ones that are safe for food. However, an alternative that I have been using since 2012, and I know that because I got these for my wedding shower gift, are glass food storage. I have had these for 8 years now, just over 8 years, and they still look like new. I mean, seriously, glass is the safest way to store your food, and I love these glass Tupperwares. None of them have broken, none of them are damaged. I still have every single piece from the set that I got as that gift. So I absolutely love these because they don't stain, so they're still gonna look brand new even years later. These have truly stood the test of time. And if you've watched any of my meal prep videos, you know that I also love using mason jars to store my food. Again, glass is just a very eco-friendly way and environmentally safe way to store your food. It's gonna last way longer than any plastic food storage on the market. So item number 5 is probably what I am the most upset about giving up, and those are my disposable makeup removing wipes. These are such a convenient way for removing your makeup, and I absolutely love using them because when you are so tired, it is just such a fast and easy way to remove your makeup every night. However, I'm sure we can all imagine that they are not very eco-friendly. In fact, America disposes of 20 million pounds of disposable wipes every single day. Now, those aren't just makeup wipes, those are also baby wipes and disinfecting wipes. But that is still a lot of disposable wipes that we are using every day. It just, again, blew my mind when I was researching this video. And these disposable wipes also wreak havoc on our sewer systems. I won't get into the details because it's super gross, but these wipes should not be flushed, but people are still flushing them, and it is just not a good situation. So when I was trying to figure out what I was going to use as an alternative, I found so many amazing products. So the one that I came to purchase, I got on Amazon, and it is this cute little baggie, and inside it is filled with reusable bamboo makeup removing cloths. So there are some that are soft and there are some that are a little bit rough, and those are exfoliating ones. So you can see there's one that's gray and one that's tan. So you know which one is which. So you can just go ahead and use up all of these. There's, I believe, 24. And then when you've used them all, you actually put them in this little mesh baggie that they come in, and you just stick it in your washing machine, and you can reuse them over and over and over again. Now, I know some makeup removing wipes, you actually don't need any product. They just use water, but these aren't those type. I instead bought this bottle of micellar water, or micellar water. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it, but so many people tell me that this is their favorite way, and it really does a great job of removing their makeup. So this is a really big bottle. Even though it has plastic packaging, it's gonna last me for a really long time. So it's definitely gonna be more eco-friendly than all of those disposable wipes, because those again come in plastic packaging as well, so it's like double the waste. So I have been loving using these so far, and it really does a great job at removing my makeup. And again, I'll have them linked in the description box if you're interested. So the next item on my list is this, plastic utensils. Billions of plastic forks, knives, and spoons are thrown away every single year, and most of the time they make their way into our environment and especially into our oceans. The size and shape of them make them really difficult to recycle, so pretty much they end up in the trash, and they are super wasteful. So I am embarrassed to admit this, but I use these a lot. The break room at my job is filled with drawers of disposable plastic utensils, and I usually just grab a fork or a spoon every time I go in there to enjoy my lunch. So something that is a extremely easy way to eliminate this problem is just bring my own from home. If I'm bringing my lunch in a lunchbox, it's really easy to just stick the fork in there when I'm packing up my lunch and bring it home and stick it in the dishwasher when I get home. Another really easy way to cut back on the number of these being used is when you are ordering food from a restaurant. Now, if you're ordering food and taking it somewhere, then you might end up needing them, but most of us, when we're ordering takeout, we're just bringing it back into our own homes to enjoy it. So something that I have been trying to get into the habit of doing is when I call in my order to the restaurant, I go ahead and let them know I do not need any napkins and I do not need any utensils. That way that they're not throwing in anything extra that is just gonna end up in the trash, because I have napkins and reusable utensils at my house. Next up, I want to talk about plastic straws, because this has gained a lot of publicity recently, and for a very good reason. Now, plastic straws are almost always used only once, and they're usually completely unnecessary. I mean, do we really need a straw to enjoy a soda at a restaurant? Probably not. Now, they're not easily recycled, they aren't biodegradable. In fact, they can take up to 200 years to break down. And because they're so lightweight, a lot of times they blow away into the oceans, not only polluting them, but they're eaten by sea life, which is really, really sad. So what are we gonna do about this? So the obvious answer is that you can decline the straw. If you're at a restaurant, you can just pass on the straw and just drink your drink straight from the glass. But something that I've been incorporating into my own home, because I love using a straw, is just buying really high quality reusable straws. So the ones that I use for myself are these. They are stainless steel straws that I purchased on Amazon, and I love using these. I just find that I drink a lot more water when I'm using a straw. I'm not sure why, but I know that that's something that has been proven a fact, that you're more likely to drink more water if you're using a straw. So I have a bunch of different straw cups, and I use these reusable stainless steel straws. And I love that most straws nowadays are coming with one of these. They are a straw cleaning brush, and you can just use this to clean out your straws so you can use them over and over and over again. Now, my kids, on the other hand, they love chewing on things, chewing on straws. So I bought them these. They are reusable silicone straws, and we've been using these for months now, and they have not been able to chew through them. They are very durable. I would say they're chew-proof, kid-proof. And again, I just clean these with those reusable straw brushes, and they're like new. So these are some really easy ways that we have been cutting down on disposable straws in our house. My kids love drinking yogurt smoothies and shakes and smoothies that we make. So we do use a lot of straws in our house, and we have not been using any plastic disposable straws for several years now. So I feel really good about that. Now, item number 8 might be a very surprising way that you can cut down on plastic and waste, and it has to do with your face wash. Yes, this came from my very own shower. It's my husband's, not mine, but you better believe that we're going to be having a conversation about this very soon. And you might be wondering, what's wrong with the face wash? Is it the packaging? No, it's not the packaging, it's what's inside it. A lot of these commercial face washes have something called microbeads that the company uses as an exfoliant. Now, these microbeads just wash their way down your sink and into the wastewater. Now, the wastewater treatment centers are not able to filter these, so they end up being washed away as a pollutant. So these are going to make their way into rivers, lakes, and oceans when the treated wastewater is released. Ultimately, they're going to be consumed by marine life like fish and oysters, and then ultimately we are going to be consuming that as well. So that's horrifying to think about. So a very simple alternative is to buy face cleansing products that do not contain these plastic microbeads. There are so many other ways to exfoliate. I love using salt or sugar scrubs as an exfoliator. You definitely do not need to buy these microbead cleansers in order to get a really good exfoliation. All right, number 9, I'm sorry to have to do this, but we gotta talk about your K-Cups. Now, the K-Cup coffee system was originally designed for offices, but now 1 in 3 Americans actually has a pod-based coffee machine in their home, and they are so incredibly wasteful. Almost all the K-Cups are gonna ultimately end up in a landfill. So it's not only environmentally wasteful, it's also economically wasteful. Do you know that when you're buying K-Cups, you're actually paying $40 a pound for the coffee that you're consuming? I mean, that is absolutely crazy. You can buy really high quality coffee for like a quarter of that price. So it is not only a bad idea for the environment, it's a bad idea for your wallet to be using these K-Cups. Now, the number of these reusable coffee pods like K-Cups that we use in a single year could circle the globe 10 times. Now, there are some brands now that are recyclable, but the problem is that the user has to break them down into paper, plastic, and metal components. Now, if you're paying for the convenience of that, you are not going to be breaking those down. It's a great idea, but it's probably not happening. So what can you do about this? Now, there are a few things you can do if you already own one of these K-Cup coffee brewers. Now, a lot of times what you can do as a very eco-friendly way to still use the coffee machine you already have is to get one of these. These are a reusable coffee pod, so you just put coffee grinds into this, you put it in your K-Cup machine, and you can go ahead and brew it, rinse out the coffee grinds, and use it over and over and over. Now, ultimately, I just don't think K-Cup brews an amazing cup of coffee, so I ditched mine 2 years ago, and I just use a traditional drip coffee maker. So the only waste being created by that is this tiny little paper filter, which is going to be far more biodegradable than a plastic coffee pod. Now, we all know coffee grounds are biodegradable, so I'm not worried about that. So if this is all the waste that is being created by creating a whole carafe of coffee every day, I think this is already a pretty good alternative. But if you are really on that eco-friendly journey and you don't want to create any waste at all, then I have another amazing option for you. Welcome to the world of French press coffee. Not only does this create probably the most delicious cup of coffee that I have ever created at home, it's also a zero waste product. So what you do is you put your coffee grinds at the bottom, you pour your almost to the point of boiling water, but not quite, water on top of it, and you just let it sit and brew. And then when it is done brewing, you push this little device down, all the coffee grinds stay at the bottom, and then you just pour out your fresh, delicious coffee. So this is an amazing way to prepare coffee, not only because it's delicious, but it's also super eco-friendly and creates no waste. So the very last item on my list might surprise you, but it's actually to make sure that you are recycling appropriately. Now, we might stick something in the recycling bin and think that we're doing a good deed because we're going to be able to reuse that and recycle it. But if you're not recycling properly, then really you're just creating more trash. So let's talk about plastic, because only about 8% of the plastic gets recycled every single year. So what you want to do is check on the bottom of your plastic container for the symbol. It's usually a triangle with a number in it. Check that symbol and check with your local recycling company to make sure that that plastic is actually recyclable before you stick it in your recycling bin. Now, glass is actually something that is very easily recycled, and it's actually cheaper to recycle glass than make it from scratch. So just go ahead and check that your recycling company accepts all different kinds of glass before you stick it in that recycling bin. Now, glass drinkware and windows cannot go in the glass recycling bin. They will actually destroy the machinery, so make sure that you don't add that into the bin. Recycle only your bottles and your jars. Now, almost all clean paper and cardboard boxes can be recycled. Just a fun fact, oily pizza boxes cannot be recycled, so don't put those in with your cardboard recycling. And most of the time, they actually can be composted, so you can look into that if you have a composting center near you. Now, the recycling centers greatly appreciate if you remove any plastic tape or packaging from the cardboard boxes, but most of them will still accept it even if you don't do that. Now, you want to make sure you go ahead and remove and scrape out any food materials from your bottles and jars and cans before you put them into the recycling, and glass jars should have the metal lids removed. You definitely want to avoid putting your recyclables in a plastic bag. Those can actually jam and destroy the machine. Instead, you should stick them straight into the recycling bin. One more little tip to end the video, most wrapping paper is not recyclable. So a gift bag is a much more eco-friendly option because that can be used over and over again. And if you're anything like me, you have a huge stack of gift bags in your closet and you can just pull one out whenever you need one. So I want to thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. Let me know down in the comments if you are going to be incorporating any of these tips and tricks to be more eco-friendly into your daily life. And if you have any that I didn't mention today, please leave them in the comments so that I can learn from you. I'm definitely a novice at being a more eco-friendly person in general, so I appreciate any tips and advice that you have or product recommendations that you have used. So again, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna see you on Friday with another brand new video. Bye guys.